Should you be preparing for coronavirus 2.0? That's right, a second wave of economic impact, maybe even stock market impact. I'll give you some perspective coming up. Hey, my name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. All right, a couple coronavirus headlines recently we've got to talk about. Can you believe it? Coronavirus headlines? Yeah, that's right. We're still talking about it. But we haven't talked about it on this channel for a long time, the impact of the markets. In fact, there was even a survey done, probably a month ago or so, of financial professionals, investment managers said, hey, how much do you think the coronavirus is going to impact the stock market moving forward? And actually, very few of them thought it was going to impact things. I beg to differ for 3 reasons, and I'm going to tell you those right now. Number one, I don't know if you've seen this, but the Eurozone basically came out yesterday, the beginning of this week, and said on high alert, we are increasing the threat level for the coronavirus moving forward. We're seeing exponential growth in spreading of the virus. You know, here in America, we've looked at, we should be ashamed of how we're doing with the coronavirus. It's spreading like crazy. Look at Europe, they figured it out. And maybe they didn't, guys. Maybe they didn't. We are seeing a huge surge of cases in various parts of Europe. France, most notably, that's caught my attention as I don't look at daily numbers as much anymore, but as I have looked, the numbers in France, numbers in the UK, and throughout Europe, they are going up, and that has created a dark cloud on the markets to start the week. Why? Because Europe shut down. I mean, I know we had a shutdown here in the US, but Europe had a serious shutdown. And people were very, very restricted in what they were able to do. And because we've got a global economy, if we see a spike in cases in Europe, like we are, if that continues, I would expect their governments, local governments, and even country governments to have a swifter and more severe response, meaning this is shut down, and that could create huge supply chain problems and create huge economic disruption, not only in Europe, but across the globe, even here in the US. So that's one reason where I would say, hey, the coronavirus, it may continue to wreak havoc. It may create another wave of havoc here in the US economy. Second reason, I saw this just recently, I think over the weekend, but it also made headlines yesterday. Will health insurance even cover the coronavirus vaccine? So we've been going about our normal lives here as things have opened up, and my kids are back in school, and you're probably back working in your office. If not, there is at least a date at which you expect to go back to the office. All that is likely underway. And it's all surrounding this idea that our government has pumped billions of dollars into the pharmaceutical world to create and help create a vaccine as fast as possible, fast track that thing, fast track it to approval, and then get the mass distribution in place so that people can get this vaccine very, very quickly. Here, my question is, if we were going to get a vaccine so quickly, why didn't that happen with the flu? Why didn't that happen with if we can get a vaccine this quickly that's that reliable, why haven't we done this with previous, medical issues? But the question that we haven't paused long enough to ask ourselves is, will health insurance even cover it? The last time I checked, health insurance companies, they were privately held companies. Therefore, they get to choose what they cover and what they won't. And if they cover it, will there be copays? Will it be free, which means will they increase next year's health insurance premium to cover the cost of this thing? How much will the vaccine even cost? The U.S. is dumping, like I said, billions of dollars into manufacturing. Will they be stimulating? Will they be financially invested in the mass distribution? And how will each person be financially impacted when they go to take the vaccine? Well, going back into the summer, you can find some articles that say, well, the U.S. officials have been working with the different major health insurance companies, and health officials expect health insurance companies to provide it at no cost. They expect it. Well, we haven't heard that from insurance companies just yet. And the news over the weekend was there's a big question mark over whether Medicare over whether Medicare will actually charge an extra cost to folks on Medicare to get the vaccine, and even how much that cost will be. I mean, is that a kick in the shins or what? We know that this virus, that the coronavirus, impacts people of different age groups differently. And right, the data suggests that it is more harmful on the older individuals, precisely the people that are on Medicare. And yet, U.S. health officials have said we expect health insurance companies to cover it for free, and yet there's this big question over whether Medicare will. That's a punch in the gut. You've got to be kidding me. And so, to me, if there is extra cost, if there's extra disruption, if there is extra question over whether people should even be getting or will be able to get this vaccine once it is out, guys, economic disruption 2.0. To me, the vaccine is only good if people actually go out and take it. Now, they can't even tell us if you have the disease or not. The testing is unbelievably unreliable. So I'm not going to be first in line to get the vaccine. But if there's even question whether your insurance company will cover it or whether there will be, remember when we first started getting these tests? And there was this question, people were getting these bills for thousands of dollars for going and getting the test done. People were reluctant to get the test, and guys, health and hospitals were reluctant to even administer the test because of the disaster with who's going to pay for it and what's covered. So if we have the same issue with a vaccine, economic disruption 2.0. And the final and most obvious reason why I believe the coronavirus is not done creating havoc on the economy and stock market is second wave. I am not a medical professional, and I know, gosh, what was it yesterday? The CDC came out with some guidance and then immediately retracted their guidance. I mean, it's extremely inconsistent, and this whole thing is still, it's new and it's confusing. However, pretty much every expert has said we're likely to see a second wave. They've been saying that since the spring. As we go from warmer, high humidity weather to colder, drier weather, as people are indoors more, if we're out and about, my guess is there is going to be a second wave. And I'm not a medical professional, I'm just relying on the experts. And if we see a second wave, our officials have said we're not going to shut down the economy again and the country again. But at the same time, if we don't have a vaccine, or it's not readily available, or it's not officially covered, and we see a huge spike in cases, even if we don't shut things down, will there be a change in behavior? Will people be reluctant to go out and spend money? And there again, that is my case for saying we are not past this economic disruption and even the stock market disruption. So how does this apply to you? Don't be complacent with where things are in your financial life right now. Now, if you're struggling, if you're still on unemployment, you're back, maybe working but not full time. If you've already faced a significant amount of financial disruption, you might wonder, well, why is he even talking about this? No one's back to normal. Well, guys, there's some areas of the world, some segments of our population where, yeah, this coronavirus thing impacted us for a couple months and things are back to normal. Don't get complacent. If for your investments, things are back up, that might feel good. Stand ready. Make sure you've got a plan for the amount of risk that you're taking should we see another big economic disruption. And if you weren't at risk of losing your job, or you stayed employed through this whole time, or whatever, don't be complacent and start taking more risk in your financial life and using your emergency fund to fund cash flow purchases, whatever. Make sure you're staying appropriately prepared if we do see a huge economic impact for the second time with the coronavirus as we enter the fall and winter seasons. Are you prepared? Sit down with your certified financial planner, talk through where you could be exposed, and make sure you've got a game plan if we're hit again. If you don't have a CFP, you can contact a member of our team. Find us online, Korhorn.com, that's Korhorn with a K, or wisemoneyshow.com. You can always send us an email as well, info@Korhorn.com. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.